Oh, oh, where are you going? Hey, listen, if I'm going to take the time to teach you how to do all this stuff, then you get your butt back out in that garage. And then you smash the subscribe and like button because I'm an awesome guy and I like to give free information. So you should do me a favor. But don't be walking away. We got things to learn today and to fix. So you better go grab your tools and get out in that garage right now. Right now. What are you waiting for? Go. Jeez. Alrighty, guys. Today we're going to drain the coolant out of this bike. And obviously all we have to do is start with the lowest pipe, which is right here. This is, I believe, the lowest pipe. Oh, no, that might be the lowest pipe right there. I believe that is the lowest pipe on this unit. So, yes, it is. Right there. That is the lowest pipe on this unit. So we're going to be pulling that tube off there on the bottom, which is going to completely drain the system all the way from the radiator through the engine all the way down. And then your refill for your radiator cap is right at the top of this. There's two access points. You can either go through here, or if you have a pump like I do, you can just pull off the top of the radiator right there and just go in with your tube and fill it from there. However, to do this today, I'm going to show you guys the proper way. So we're going to go ahead and just remove this one fairing right here, this piece, which will give us complete access to the radiator because it's only a couple bolts. So this one, that one, I believe there's one up here, yeah, right there, and then this whole unit, this whole chunk comes right out. It gives us access, and then your overflow is right here, which once again, to do it properly, you would have to lift the tank. However, for this, I'm just going to stick a siphon hose in there, siphon out whatever's in there out into this container, and then we're just going to pop that lid open, and I'm just going to insert a pump, and we're just going to pump that until I can see that it reaches its full mark right there. This pipe takes Asian coolant, which is normally red or purple and can be blue. I got the pink kind mixed with red. So this is red and pink. It is 50-50 mix. It's ready to use. It's about $21 for a container of it, but that's what this bike is going to take. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm going to go get my tripod. We're going to remove this lower one. I'm going to fight with it for a little bit until it disconnects, and then we're going to obviously put it in here, and then I have to take this down and properly dispose of it when I'm done. So no need for mixing. That should be enough to do this entire job. I don't think I'll need any more than that. I think one container of this should do the job. So let me go grab my tripod, set you guys up, and we'll get started. Alrighty, let's come down here, see if we can wiggle this loose. Gonna put on my gloves because obviously if I can avoid getting coolant all over myself, I would like to. That would just be nice. That would be nice. So we'll throw on the mechanic gloves. Just going to use a power tool for this. Should be good enough to get it off there. Because that's been on there for so long, I'm going to take a flathead. We're just going to kind of insert it on there if I can get it. See if we can get this line to separate. All right, we will let that drain just like that. That'll drain the whole system. I can see that removing these clamps is going to be very problematic, so I'm just going to drain the system like this. Go ahead and tighten this rear one back down. And we'll just use the screwdriver and just let it drain like that. Yeah, that's very gross, old, bad coolant. Yep. This needed this for a while. All right, I'm going to go grab my siphon hose, guys, and we're going to start siphoning off the reservoir tank. While that is draining, We're just going to grab a siphon hose. I'm going to pop the lid off, insert this down in there, give a little suck on this end, and let it start free flowing until the reservoir is completely empty. So, well, that's almost done draining. That's pretty close to being done. I'm going to let that drip for a little bit, and I'll be back to you guys. All right, guys, I am now going to tighten that lower line again. Pull the screwdriver out. Make sure all that's seated again. We're going to put that clamp right back on there. And we're going to tighten her down. Trying to put everything back to exactly where it came from. There we go. There we go. All right. Should have solved that. Man, that coolant smells bad. That's bad coolant. That is bad coolant. Okay, so now that that's done, both of those are tight, and we're going to come up here and we're going to remove this top panel. Let me reposition you guys. All right, I believe it's a size 4. Kind of jumps around size 5, size 4. Pull off this one real fast. There we go. That'll be the back bolt. This one will be middle fairing bolt. You guys have more screws than I do, but it's pretty much 3 or 4. I believe there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, but this one only has 3. I didn't even tighten this one down. That's my fault. That one didn't even get tightened down. Oh well. All right, there's that. So we'll do that. Now, we're going to turn the handlebars because we got to pop this out of there. Got to pop this out. So that's got to go up there like that. And we just got to pull slowly until we get this past certain points. There we go. And then we set that down like that. And that gives us access to our radiator cap over here, which actually has an 8mm bolt on it to get it off. So I'm going to have to go grab a 8mm. So let me grab that real quick. I'll show you what that looks like in a sec. So if you come right over here, you can see there's the radiator cap right there. And it has an 8mm locking bolt on it. So you have to loosen that to get this off, because that is a lock that they have on there intentionally. There we go. So we'll just set that bolt right down there, and we should be able to grab this and give a twist. There we go. So as you guys can see, I have the cap off. It's completely empty system now. What I'm going to do is set you guys over here. Okay, well, back to the old funnel, I guess. I don't like doing it this way because it's a lot harder to manage the amount of coolant that you're giving it and not knowing when to stop, but no choice, it looks like. So here we go. Pretty nifty looking coolant. Okay. Oh, got a little bit of an overflow there. pull that out. All right, so I can see it in the top now, which means the whole system's full. However, now we need to start the bike and let it circulate. It's going to bubble. First, I'm going to grab some of these lines and I'm going to squeeze, and I'm going to see if I can get any kind of air pockets out of the lines. That's our objective. So when I squeeze this, I can see the radiators doing things. Let me squeeze this bottom one. I should see it affect. Yep, good. I see it affecting the coolant by squeezing the bottom one down here. That means our system is pretty good and full. It means that we don't have too many air pockets. I can see a transfer of coolant every time I squeeze, so it is back pressuring the system. So now we're going to start it, and we're going to let it circulate. We have to try to bleed any extra air pockets out that we can. And there it goes. I just watched it disappear. So we're going to add a little bit more now. It sucked it into the cooling system. We'll let that circulate for a minute before I put a cap on it. All that coolant that got on the exhaust now is starting to breathe. All right, looks like we got all the air out of the system. I don't see it bubbling at all. It's starting to overflow now, so we're going to cap it. There we go. Capped. We have capped it, and then all I have to do is refill the overflow, but I want to see if it kicks any of that back into it. So all you would have to do at that point is pull that cap open, take this and just insert it into your overflow reservoir, and then fill it up to the full line on there, and you're done. So like I said, just watch your temperature gauge from here. Make sure that your fan is coming on like it should. If everything's working good, then refill your overflow and you're done. Hope that helps, guys. Catch you on the flip. Toodles.